Everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse Marine, Sweet Street at Warners Bay, your Newcastle Honda marine dealer. Thursday, and that, look, it was a southwester this morning. We were going to go for a bit of a fish, I've got to be honest, and it just blew up to about 20 knots early and showers. So it appears that a lot more of the rain is Central Coast down towards Sydney. So it's just going to have to see how it develops over the next few days for us. Of course, the forecast for Friday, Saturday, Sunday is easterly wind, so it's going to be dead east coming in, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, running into the full moon, which is on Tuesday night, I might add, east northeast up to 20 knots. So it's onshore really the next 6 days at this point in time. So look, it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be a little bit of a guessing game. Depends on whether this little bit of a system moves up into Newcastle and beyond, whether we get thunderstorms and showers and we get a bit more wind, guys. So it's just a matter of having a look at it. Last weekend we went out to the briny on the Saturday. What a day. The weather was perfect. There was a lot of guys out, and it was an absolute perfect day, mirrored out at stages. Fantastic. Water temperature is unbelievable. By the end of the day, we had water temperature out and around about 300 fathoms, 28 degrees. And it's not often that we see 28 degrees. And in fact, during the course of the day, it had moved all the way into 75 fathoms, reading 28 degrees. Seems to be a strip of water from probably about South West Rocks now, almost down to probably Sydney by now, of 28 degree water. It is just too hot. Even on the edge, you could see bait right in 85, 90 fathoms, glued to the bottom. Just lumps of bait just sitting there, just trying to get out of it. Flying fish by the thousands out there, and that was really what we were seeing, is just sheeting, flying fish just sheeting out of the water. Look like skipjacks and probably frigates busting into those guys. The odd yellowfin around, no doubt. Seen a few bigger fish moving, but they were reluctant to eat. We got a nice blue marlin around about 11:30. We estimate him around about 130 kilo, and of course released him, our good mate Wally Walker. Took a bit of time, but he finally got it in the end. But a nice fish, and there was another one, Aaron Hampo and his crew got a nice one as well. So a couple of good blue marlin out there. The guys out wider in 1,000 fathoms, and we're making some nice yellowfin, and I definitely know there was some nice yellowfin caught up off the bay, as well as blue marlin. But it is just too hot. There was no wahoo. I thought there might have been, but the temperature has to moderate. It's got to come back down. Striped marlin at the moment offshore, in with those little black marlin, really in and around about 20 fathoms at best. I know there's been a bit of a bite the last couple of weeks up off North Reef, Uralla, the V, and definitely there's been quite a few little fish out on our fad, but actually in closer up towards Redhead and definitely down towards Nor Head on that inshore. I think water temperature on the beach, guys, is 23 degrees. So it was spoilt for water temperature, but it's just got to start to back off a little bit, and I'm hoping over the next few weeks we start to see it moderate. Definitely some dolphin fish out on the fads and in on that trapline area on the farm. Look, there are definitely fish better than 70. There's the odd 75, 80 now in the system, in the scheme of things, so it's good to see. But there are a lot of small dolphin fish, particularly up towards Newcastle, just little tackers, you know, maybe about 40 centimetres at best, but lots of them. I would think the way it is with these little dolphin fish, I would be not surprised if we don't see a few come in the lake because of this water is so warm. Bonito, they've been up and down. Some days the guys are getting them, other days they're not, so it's been a little bit of a struggle. There's no real consistency with those bonito. Again, those better fish are getting caught while the guys are fishing for snapper and using floating pillies down a burley trail. That's where they're getting the bigger bonito. There are obviously a lot of little guys around, but it's just starting to move around. Flatties, trag, bit skinny on. As I say, there's been the odd one down at Caffrey Bay and a few starting to get up towards Redhead, definitely up off Newcastle, but the offshore thing is just not quite there. I'm hoping after that moon phase rolls back through and we head into the next one, which is probably a couple of weeks' time into that new moon, we may see an improvement, and hopefully we see a little bit of a drop in water temperature. But difficult for our offshore guys. The beaches, of course, we talked about it last week. There are tailor starting to get in on the beaches now, which is great to see. Now those tailor not only will be on the beaches early morning and late afternoon, but really like pre-dawn, they'll be now starting to move into the rocks. So I think the better fish at the moment for tailor wise are definitely on the beaches and the rocks at this point. There's been a lot of rat kingies along the rock platform. So again, great sports fish and good to see a lot of fish moving through for your bonito as well. So we're going to be sport for options, but remember it's going to be easterly for the next 3 days and then east northeast. So it's going to be tough when you're fishing on the beach and on the rocks. The estuary itself, I think, is going to be the saving grace, although the water temperature out here at the moment in patches is up to 28 degrees. So even the lake here is starting to get super hot. I would encourage guys to fish pre-dawn or into the evening when they can get out of this humidity and get out of this sun. There's a lot of mulloway in the system. There's a lot of fish that those 55, 60s, which is great to see that recruitment coming through, but there's a lot of better fish, a lot of fish in that metre mark for the guys that are fishing into the evening, and a lot of guys now that are fishing for mulloway getting multiples. But not only in Lake Macquarie, the Hunter River is fishing really, really well. So Newcastle Harbour is another option to get in there, a bit deeper, so that water will be probably a little bit cooler. So a lot of advantages. Quite a lot of squid still in the lake, deeper water. So there's not a lot of squid in that 5 to 6 metres. You're really going to be starting to punch out to around about 8 to 10 metres in periods to get some better squid. But there's plenty out there, a lot of kings, and there's quite a few tailor now moved into the lake, but they're not big. I sent a report yesterday, which was a great report actually. Bag limit catches of fish up to 43, but there's a lot of fish in that 32 to 35, which is typical of at the moment, but I reckon once we start to move further into March and April, we'll start to see a lot better fish, and those fish into that 50s to 60s hopefully will start to turn up as it cools down. Whiting on the flats definitely, and quite a few brim as well. And we're seeing a bit of diversity. We've talked about it a lot of times now. There's the odd trevally moving through us. There was a post on a Samson fish, which is again another different species. But keep your eye on these dollies. I'll be really keen, guys, if you're out there and you actually see dollies horsing around in the lake. I just think with the water temperatures consistent and what it is, and how many juvenile dolphin fish there are right along this coastline here at the moment, they may start to move. And haven't heard of any reports of cobia down this way yet. Generally would have started to hear it up at Port Stephens. Nothing yet, but I reckon it's only weeks away. All in all, going to be hard. I think the estuary's the go, and I reckon fishing of the night is the peak. I'll see you next week.